QMS part, and I can get back. I can let you know on the related questions.
I would request the participants to unmute and please directly ask the questions. Thank you, Shravan and Sushma, for the overall perspective and the insights that you gave to the startups. So I think, yeah, Dr. Anbu, you have a question.
Ma'am, in your last slide in the case study, you mentioned that it doesn't require a clinical trial study. Could you please elaborate, ma'am? Hello, ma'am. You are unmute.
You're not audible. You're on mute. Sushma, ma'am, you're on mute. Yeah.
Yes, sorry, I didn't realize I was on mute. Okay, so if you have sufficient data, the validation data to support that product is performing well, okay, in case of software. But if it is a physical device, if you have data that the product is used in Indian population, you would not need to perform any clinical trial. Or if you have sufficient data to back up sufficient validation data to back up your claim on the performance of the device, there will not be any need to perform a clinical trial in India. But if you do not have any sufficient data, CDSCO might ask you to perform a clinical trial in India to test whether the device is performing well in the Indian population or not. Okay.
Dr. Ambu, hope it clarified.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from the team?
There is one question in the chat box, where to look for predicate device. Anchal, from Anchal. So Sushma, can you?
Yes. So in the portal that I've mentioned, the CDSCO medical device online page, when you go to the home page, and there is a option to show the list of approved devices that are approved by CDSCO. So you can check in that page. You can type the keywords. Sorry, Aravind, you're saying something? Hello.
No, nothing, Sushma, continue.
Okay, sorry. So as I was saying, so the CDSCO medical device online page, if we go to that, in the home page, there is an option to check the approved list of devices that are approved by CDSCO. So you can go to that page and you can type the keyword, whatever is pertaining to you, like a catheter or a software or whatever your device can be, the predicate that you're looking for. You can type the keywords there and look for the predicates that comes up there. You'll get the manufacturing license numbers and the year when they are approved.
Challam asked for the LinkedIn profiles. We will share the profiles to you, Challam, over the group, and the contact details of 8CHealthcare also for further connects too.
I mean, it was there on the PowerPoint, the number, so you can always take it from there, Challam.
Yeah, the contact details are on the presentation. On every page, you can see the email ID and the website details, but still the LinkedIn profile, I think Aravind will share it with you. Thank you.
Hello, ma'am. I have one question. Like, if you have some predicate device and FDA approved or USFDA or CE approved, can we apply the same standard CDSCO and the same class? Can it be replicated here?
Yes, CDSCO actually, they doesn't have their own set of guidelines. As you can see, the medical device rules are almost similar to the classification rules for Europe. Okay, MDR of Europe. Okay, so if a product has a classification in US or Europe, we can just check. For US, it's a little complicated because they only have class 1, 2, and 3, right? So, but we have 4 groups here for us. So for class B and C, it will be a little critical to understand whether it falls under B or C. But if in Europe, if it is in class 1, then it would be class A. In India, if it is class 2A, it would be B. If it is class 2B, it would be C, and class 3 would be class D in India. The same rules apply.
And just to add to that, in your development journey, if you have a valid predicate anywhere in the globe, particularly in US market, that gives a lot of insights to you, and it can help you set up your design inputs and user requirements more streamlined, aligning with that predicate if you are actually making a Me Too product or more aligned towards that predicate. So that kind of help you can take in the development process and verification, validation, and kind of standards that are applicable to your device. Yes, it helps.
So, sir, can we simply copy the standards which are given in the 510K application of theirs? And
It is.
Can we do
It
those
is.
only, or do we need any additional?
No, that is where you should apply how much of you are similar, how much of your product is similar to your predicate. Okay, you don't find 100% matching products until the same company is making same product with a different brand name. Okay, so there would always be differences. That's where you should be vigilant in looking at what is your device, what is your predicate, and why they chose the standard, how much of whether that standard is applicable to you. Majority of these standards are harmonized standards, and they are like pretty much applicable to you. But nevertheless, I want you to little be careful instead of just blindly copying all the standards and say that I'm compliant with them.
Sir, hello.
Yeah.
Regarding the AI software, while obtaining the license, whether we have to mention the version, software version. Suppose
Yes.
if we do some iteration or updation in the software in the future, how do you go about it? The near next feature.
That means
Suppose,
like
because the AI model, continuously we are retrain and retrain with more data, and always there is an upgradation in the software. Suppose in that case, what shall we do?
Yeah. So
Shravan,
I'll
can I
brief.
take that question?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
sir, as we said before, in the regulatory application, okay, there is a column for model name. Okay, so under brand name, you will give the name of your actual device. Okay, under model name, you'll have to give the version of your device for a particular software. Okay, so whenever you make an update in the version, okay, since there are some certain obligations which you have to follow after obtaining a medical device, okay, one of which is to whenever there is a change, you'll have to notify CDSCO. So since there will be a change in the version and it's in the model name, you will have to submit a post-approval change to CDSCO stating that there has been a change in the version with so-and-so change implemented in the CDSCO.
And if
So,
I may add to that, yes, sir, go ahead.
I guess this is simple notification to CDSCO about the changes in the version.
Yes, unless it is a major change in the intended use of the device. Okay, like for example, you are claiming that the product is used in diagnosing a cough for a TB, for example. Okay, so if unless you are changing that to diagnosing some other additional device diseases, okay, unless it's a major change. If it is only minor change in maybe you are adding some other steps in other aspects in what are the tests that is going to perform and all. So those versions can just be notified. Okay, they just need notified. You don't need a complete change in your manufacturing license.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Understood, ma'am.
Yeah. That's why for software, it is important that you mention your version under model name, not under brand name. If it is a change in the version and if you put that in under a brand name, then you'll have to file a whole new manufacturing license application.
And just to add to that, if you are talking about AI, which is continuous improved software, there should be a locking mechanism at what stage you would put a pause or put a lid on your development or your AI machine learning protocols. Okay, and the clear guidelines were that can be, the regulations for AI are still under development, and FDA is the front runner in that. So you can follow FDA's latest guidelines on AI/ML based medical devices to gain to better understand. But the kind of understanding and knowledge on this in Indian scenario is very limited, and so you should, when you are addressing this question, I would recommend you to do it holistically, thinking, okay, you won't be just confining to India down the line, so you would be looking at a global picture. So get all those harmonized regulations and guidelines into perspective when you are deciding on what. And when it comes to specifically Indian regulatory approval, yes, as Sushma said, the trick is to consider the software version in the model number, and also how your procedures would talk about major changes, minor changes. If you have version 2.3.4 XYZ, and every small typo corrections, you call it Z, and so you have a specific configuration management system in place for updating version numbers, so that you can say, you can put yourself that if you're changing this to this, we will do the regulatory notification in our SOPs. Okay, that way also you can have more clarity on when to do visit notification to CDSCO, when not to do.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions?
Sure.
So if there are no questions, we can conclude. Just we have one final slide just to show what 8C can do. 8C can help to the community. With that, maybe we can conclude. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, starting from beginning. Yeah. So we help you with majorly 4 verticals. One, clinical trial, clinical study management. If any of your device is invasive, most probably clinical trial is needed in Indian settings when you are having invasive devices that are first time you are using in humans. So you need a clinical trial. So I believe our forum is not containing one of them. But if anybody needs such a support, we can help you, handhold you in developing clinical development protocols, and actually conducting clinical trials, and help you with the data generation and data monitoring, and ultimately help you to make a clinical evaluation report for that. So moving on, the most important things you might be needing is quality management system and regulatory affairs, where particularly when it comes to quality management system, we can help you. If you are already doing in the pathway, you have done some work, we can do the gap assessment and tell you where you need to fix your gaps and where you need to strengthen your things, your quality management systems. And there are multiple components involved in the document, in medical device regulatory documentation, that includes risk management and design development, design history, file preparation, we can handhold you in those process, implementation of design development and risk management process. And if you have high plans to go global and go for MDSAP is medical device single audit program. With one audit, we can cover the requirements of US, Australia, Japan, Brazil, and Canada. So we can also help you with that. Finally, in this process, you need to find a notified body and appoint them as part to do the audit process. As we do work in this arena, we know quite a handful of them. We can help you to get the notified body into the discussion and appoint and the notified body appointment process. We can be handful on that, which eventually lead to getting 13485 certificate. And there are a lot of people who can do that, but particularly when it comes to SAMD, it is literally need some experienced hands, and we have time-tested methods, and we have few success stories, particularly for SAMD medical devices, taking them from scratch to what they are now, ISO certified, and getting many medical device manufacturing license, and aiming for approvals in US and Europe. So similarly, when it comes to regulatory affairs, if you see, as you see from the Sushma's presentation, so quite a lot of documents need to be put together and compiled for first and foremost, what we call it as technical file. We can help you with technical file. We can help you with regulatory intelligence reports. That means you have some strategy related confusion, which way to go, what is the classification, what is the best way to go. We can consult with you, we can give you a strategy report, and maybe if you take option A, you can go this way. If you take option B, we can go this way. And similarly, risk management and the DHF remediation are few things which are comes under part of medical regulatory affairs also, particularly when you are aiming for CE mark. But as part of QMS also, we can provide that services. And one more thing is usability engineering. Usability engineering is not a big deal in Indian regulatory submission, but it definitely is needed. You should have a robust usability engineering file as per IEC 62366 to meet the requirements of US and Europe. We can help you with that process. We can help you with the regulatory approvals in US, Europe, and Canada, and Australia, along with India. So just in addition to that, the training. So trainings are very important because you need to understand the background of all the standards that you're going to. One of the participants asked if I can I put all the standards that are the predicate as we are going to comply. But it's not just like that. You need to understand all those standards in detail and see that how much of it is applicable to you. That can only be done when you actually understand the standard in detail and apply your device to it. So we do provide dedicated trainings on ISO 13485 in quality management system, ISO 14971 for risk management, 62304 software development lifecycle, and usability engineering, and electrical safety, and EU MDR, IVDR, and FDA submissions. So if you need any support or internal trainings, you can always reach out to us. With that note, I guess we would thank Rich for this opportunity to present and interact with you. And at any point of time, if you have any questions.
Shravan, yeah, sorry to interrupt. I had a question.
Yes. Yes, yes.
Shravan, my question to you is that is there any certification body, particularly from the ISO 13485 point of view, uh, which covers CDSCO as well as the European and say, because today there are many ISO agencies who are say CDSCO. I mean, they're good for CDSCO approval, but not good for say
Yes. Yes, I got your point. Yeah.
So do you have some?
Yeah, you have the notified bodies like BSI or TUB, which are international players. The certificate provided by them are, has more validity, more weight or clout, even if you go to overseas. So which one to choose, and those things we can discuss further when you are actually at there in choosing process. But definitely there are players who can fulfill your requirement for CDSCO and global.
Yeah, I wanted to add a point. See, don't get confused whether it's CDSCO or global. 13485 is accepted across the world. It is that since you're in India, the regulatory agency CDSCO can accept 13485 or a European or FDA. So as long as you have designed a good system and implemented it, you can go to any good notified body and get your system certification done, then have a surveillance audit cleared from year on year. So don't think like a CDSCO or a Europe per se. I mean, the quality system is good for the world.
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes the consultants or individuals, they might confuse. Okay. So it's a different perspective. But 13485, as long as what is good for you, you plan and you implement and follow it and prove the compliance. That's all. And obviously, some notified bodies are good because of their long experience and expertise. And sometimes they are also expensive. So we need to basically weigh your options and what is good for you you need to choose from the options.
I hope we answered that question. So
Yeah.
for that matter, if I reiterate, if I can mention 8CHealthcare itself is ISO 13485 certified for the kind of services we provide in the medical device arena. We got this certification from BSI.
Sorry, I was a little disconnected. So, Nareshji, actually, the thing is that particularly from CDSCO point of view, if you actually go on their website, so they have they have listed companies from the you cannot just take away like the ISO from any other agency and submit it. So at least from what I understand is that you need to have very specific agencies in order to get that done. Similarly, for there are companies in the European context, you cannot have an Indian agency, for instance, who is giving you ISO and which is compliant with CDSCO and submit the same, because they also need to be in. I mean, they need to be some. I think some registration is needed, particularly from that point of view. Matlab, the agencies should be registered with them. So that was my question. So if there is any common agency which we can select from day one, which can essentially help us, if we are getting for CDSCO, the same agency can also help us with the European or the FDA.
The best is BSI, Praveen. Okay. I understood there should be the country regulatory agency would recognize them. Okay. When from MDT to MDR transition, the European agency didn't recognize all the notified bodies which have done bad work in the past. Okay. So the BSI, Intertech, and TUV, so the many good organizations are there, but the challenge with them is the bandwidth of their time, the availability of their time. So the list of that you get from CDSCO website is the 788 companies. You can choose one of them, no, but those one of them are also globally recognized. That's why they came to India. Because if you remember, India didn't have any of those agencies before. And they cannot come in the few years. So it requires long experience and expertise. So the best part is the notified bodies that are recognized by CDSCO, all are eligible to give certification globally. But the only catch is whether they specifically are good for MDR. You need to check that due diligence the company has to do on the notified body to pick.
So just to also, I mean, since this is a discussion point, so from the discussion point of view, actually we sent a mail to BSI. So they have two agencies. One is BSI India, and one is the BSI European. So they said that, Praveen, if you'd like to get the audit done from the BSI India, that would not be valid for the submission for the BSI Europe. So again, so there I believe that there are certain inside the organization itself, there are certain kind of I would say hierarchy in terms of geography that they.
Praveen, it depends on which stage you are in. But if you are doing an early stages, there is no. If once you get the system in place for 13485, it doesn't make extra effort to actually get those additional badges on your certificate. Okay, same BSI can help you in every country that you're going with the same audit. Okay, so you not to worry much about it, but that's a altogether big topic to understand. What are the nuances or differences between these the tags that they come up with India and US? Okay, for that matter, the Europe, there is no need, there is no where it says that you should follow ISO 13485 to get compliant with the quality management system. ISO 13485 is a voluntary standard everywhere in the world. Okay, so but it definitely adds weight and clout. So if you are starting starting new, starting in India, you can always go with BSI India and get it done. When you're actually going for global and going to Europe, you can ask the same same BSI to consider your European compliance also as part of the surveillance audit, next surveillance audit as per your planning, that they can easily do.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, I'll go last. I'm very sorry. I just wanted to say one thing is, we fall in the gray area of medical device. So we are more on towards where to give a background, we are a pill dispenser company which dispenses medication as per blister pack. But recently, what we had seen in the current landscape is also where the Southern Medical Board of Association had given illegal flag to all the companies who are repackaging medication and selling it directly to the consumer. But we fall under the category where the blisters have been kept. So how do we go forward is what my question was. Because we've worked with TB department, we are trying to work with other departments in the healthcare where this device is accepted by them, but they also asked at the end of the day to get a CDSO done or a clinic. After our clinical validation study, we were asked for a CDSO or any other kind of standardization certificates to be done. So what should we do is what I wanted to ask, or try to understand what can we do further.
Can I take that question, Shravan?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So, Rahul, no? Rahul, so there is a specific procedure when you're not certain whether your product falls under medical device or not, or on the classification of the medical device. When you're not certain, CDSCO is taking applications to confirm whether the product is a medical device, or if it is a medical device, what is the classification of the medical device. You can check with them by filing a classification or a confirmation request to CDSCO whether it's a medical device or not. There is a specific process for that, by which they will officially give you a letter whether it's a medical device or not, with which you can claim it everywhere if it's a medical device.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Sure. I think we will take other questions offline. Like you can reach out to 8CHealthcare directly, or we can introduce you to them over email. Through this session, I would like to thank 8CHealthcare team, Shravan, Sushma, and Naresh for sparing your time. I know like we are 30 minutes ahead of the scheduled time, but really thanks for addressing all the questions and presenting it to them. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Aravind, and thank
Thank
you
you, sir.
everyone for joining us.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you.